Right, so in this video we're going to have a brief introduction into using modifiers. Now the modifier we're going to look at is called the array modifier. And the sort of time you might use this is when you have created an object that you would like to repeat over and over, such as fence posts along a long fence, or maybe logs on a raft or on a bridge, that kind of thing. And so I've got here a very basic fence post, nothing exciting. And what we're going to do is we're just going to have a look at how we can use the array modifier to repeat this object over and over. So once you've got it selected, if you come over to the right here, you'll see what looks like a wrench or a spanner. If we just click on that, it brings up the modifiers dialog. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on add modifier, and you'll see under generate there is one there called array. So when you click on that, you'll notice our shape now has become twice as wide. And that's because Blender has automatically created a duplicate of that shape right next to it. And you can see here it's going along the x-axis, and the offset is 1. That is one width of this object. So in other words, it has come right up against it. If I increase the count over here on the right to 3, you'll notice that it's gotten even wider. Now the problem is we won't always want them up against each other. So let's come back to our offset, and if we increase our offset, say to 1.5, now when you look at it you can see they're starting to get a gap in between them. It's starting to look more like a fence. The other thing as well is you don't have to go along the x-axis. You notice here under the offset we've been working on the x, but we could easily set that back to 0 and choose the y-axis to be 1.5. And that will now go off along the y-axis, and you can see the green line there. And yes, you could also do it along the z, which would go up into the air. So just to show you just how clever this is, if I decide I want to make a change to my fences, so I want to make them just a little bit more interesting, a bit of detail at the top. When I tab now, when I press tab, sorry, more emails. When I press tab, you can see that only the original object is actually highlighted. These others are just being generated by the modifier. So if I go into my face select mode and just select that top face, I'll just zoom in a bit here. If I extrude up and then maybe just scale out a little bit to create a little bit of detail, you can see how that is actually being applied to all of the copies. And every time now if I add another copy, so if I come over to my modifier and increase the count from 3 to 4, you can see we now have a new object there which still has the same detail. So it's quite a good way of I guess saving you time. Also, when we apply a texture to this object, it's going to be applied to all of the copies. So that is the array modifier. Remember, you find that under the wrench, and then under add modifier, under generate, choose array.